Now, the French President Emmanuel Macron has given his outgoing Prime Minister 48 hours to reach a deal with political parties to form a government. It follows Sébastien Lecornu's sudden resignation just a day after confirming his cabinet lineup. He'd held office for less than a month. President Macron has ordered the stay of execution so that Mr. Lecornu can talk to the political parties in the hope of finding enough deputies in Parliament to back up a new government. But correspondents say that why Mr. Lecornu should be more successful now in 48 hours than he was in the 3.5 weeks leading up to the latest crisis is far from clear. Now, here in Nigeria, Mahmood Yakubu has stepped down as the chairman of the Electoral Commission, INEC. Yakubu has served out his two-term tenure of 10 years. He was appointed chairman by former President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015. The body's longest-serving national commissioner, May Abamuche, has taken over as the acting national chairman. Well, for more on this, Arise Director of News and Political Editor Sumner Sambo joins me now for more on this story. Good to see you, Sumner.
Thank you so much.
His term had just expired, had it?
Yes, actually. I mean, not fully expired, but he's trying to create a buffer where you could actually have more opportunities for the incoming person to be announced by the president after consulting with the National Council of State, and then forwarding the name to the National Assembly, specifically the Senate, for consideration, and then before swearing in by the president again. So, I mean, it's a very good one, and we really commend Mahmood Yakubu for creating this, because he could have as well stayed way up until November. I mean, he was brought into place in October, announced in October, screened by and cleared by the Senate in November 2015. So he still has some time, but it's good. He creates this buffer, actually.
But I mean, it sounds like he couldn't wait to go.
Yeah,
I mean, he was under a lot of heat, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, a whole lot of heat. And I'd heard, I mean, that he was prepared to go as early as June this year.
Wow.
Because of the challenges. And of course, one of the things that Mahmoud kept complaining about was the underfunding of the electoral body. I mean, you had seen that some of the recent by-elections that were conducted after it had stayed for too long. I mean, the INEC chairman had been complaining that the funding of the commission was too poor. He needed more monies to conduct these by-elections, but the federal government just didn't seem to be giving him all the monies. And so several elections, you know, came together, and it was a little bit difficult for him to be able to do that. But eventually he was able to conduct the by-elections, which were the last, and then, of course, you saw how widespread that was across the nation. And some of them turned out very well, but of course the issues of vote buying and some of the challenges that he had still continued. But overall, yeah, I mean, he's someone who's actually introduced some innovations, like some of the BVAS machines. You know, when he came in, there was card reader, but he brought in the BVAS technology. And of course, he brought in the controversial IREV, the results tabulation system, which is supposed to be posted online. Unfortunately, that's going to be, I mean, the doomsday ticker for him, because, I mean, everything worked out well in the House of Representatives and senatorial elections in 2023. But when it got to that of the presidential election, that's what a whole lot of Nigerians don't know what happened.
Absolutely.
He himself has not been able to convince a whole lot of Nigerians. But what they put out there was that there was a technical glitch. And this will be the bad memories that Yakubu would have to go with.
But now he's out. And I understand that by February next year, 5 other commissioners will be gone as well.
Yes, actually, national commission.
Yes, so it's an important junction, a point through which trust can be rebuilt and confidence restored if the right people are put in.
Yeah, that's if the APC-led federal government really wants electoral reforms. The National Assembly is still stuck in the idea of what to do with the reforms that have been proposed. INEC under Mahmoud Yakubu proposed 142 new reforms.
Absolutely.
Some of them are constitutional, some of them are electoral acts, I mean, based on the law, and of course some of them are administrative. INEC did the administrative part, the one that has to do with the new reforms for
the legal.
The legal one, they are still stuck in the National Assembly. There's supposed to be a national public hearing on electoral reforms, but the National Assembly just resumed today. We are just hoping that they will be able to, you know, quickly hasten on that, because By middle of next year, we're supposed to be having presidential candidates emerging and all of that. So it's a huge challenge. But for Mahmoud Yakubu, it's an era that a whole lot of Nigerians will, you know, have with mixed feelings because, I mean, he had issues with INEC staff where some of them were not properly promoted. But before leaving now, he has promoted a whole lot of them. And then we've also had issues of constitutional reforms that he has brought in place. We're hoping to see whether or not the Tinubu-led federal government would do its best to give Nigerians an acceptable INEC chairman who will be nominated and accepted by almost majority of the country, and then, of course, these new national commissioners, and then roll out a timetable that works. Because one thing that's good for Mahmoud is that he rolled out a calendar that has made Nigeria's elections predictable. Every second weekend of February, on the election year, you know that there's an election. And then after 2 weeks, you know that there's a governorship election. So that has made our electoral system much better, despite its frailties and challenges.
Sumner, thank you very much indeed.
Thank
Arise
you so
Director
much.
of News and Politics, Editor Sumner Sambo.